where I'm supposed to be. Normally I'm running around in the back. So, for those of you who have not been here in the past few weeks and walked in, you're going, what is going on here? So, it is our second annual. We're hoping this is going to be an annual event, speaker series. And I'm so excited to see you all here. I have a quick announcement. We've been trying not to do announcements during this series, but I wanted to let you know if you're an active member or attender here and get the weekly emails from me. I sent one out this morning, and in it talked about we've reestablished a nominating person. We don't really need a committee member. That if we're going to be taking nominations for some openings, please, if you don't get an email and you'd like to be on that, you just on the Getting to Know You card that you can find in the church chair pockets, you can write, say, hey, I'm interested. The contact person is Becca Peters. She does not serve on any committee right now, so we wanted to have a neutral church member who you could go to and present nominations or present yourself for positions. Also in that email, a list of the people who are not eligible because they have a family member already on the committee. So that's a lot of business I wanted to just throw out there for you. And please take a look at that. Becca is not here. In that email, her email is listed separately in the CC. Is that all speaking gibberish, or does everybody feel like you got it?
Got it.
Excellent. The due date for those nominations is Sunday, September 1st. And I think that's about it for that. So now we just zone us in to this place. I'm going to let my friend skip to his loo. I didn't even think about how clever that was. Is that what that song's about? Oh my gosh, Center.
Yeah, really.
Funny squirrel.
I know, the Sunday squirrel. The Sunday squirrels are on the loose. Like Sunday drivers. Okay, driving my mind. And you crazy. Hello. Oh, he just went to go little Cubs. I'm going to begin today with a scripture from the Greek New Testament, known to many of us as the New Testament, the Greek scriptures, and it comes from the Gospel of John, John 14, 1 through 4. Do not let your hearts be troubled. Trust in God. Trust also in me. There are many rooms in God's house. If it were not so, I would have told you. I'm going there to prepare a place for you, and if I go and prepare a place for you, I will come back and take you to be with me so that you may also be where I am. You know the place where I'm going. There is room for all. There is room for all. There is love for all. It's something that those of us at Park Street Christian Church are committed to, my favorite made-up word, to live. Beginning with our families, our faith family, our work families, our running buddies, our companions in life. But it also begins with loving ourselves, which starts with our accepting God's love for us, God's belief in us, and who we can be, who God needs us to be, an extension of God's love. Again, the words from Bowler, who explains it better than I can. Love, love, love. The simplest word and the most complicated act. Our love sucks us into errands. Our love bends our dreams towards people's fulfillment. Our love is often directly at odds with the ability to rest, play, eat, sleep, or even have much time for the people we love. It's the strangest phenomenon, and one we all understand because we have seen it up close. Thank goodness the words aren't up there. Oh, that's a blow the surprise. The more we love, then the more we love. There is no scarcity in love. There is a scarcity of time and resources, yes, but love grows and grows. I'm trying to explain this to my son, she writes, who was exhibiting characteristically zero subtlety in asking who I love more. Do I love the next door neighbor more, she writes. Do I love other children more? If I had more children, would they go to the top of the list? Oh, hun, she said, it's the weirdest thing. But when you love people, it's like they move into your house. But your home mysteriously multiplies and makes more room to put everybody, I said. Well, where am I then? He asked. The living room, I replied. Great, he said definitively. I guess Dad can have the garage. The generosity of the human heart. But I stand by my argument. Where love is concerned, it's an open house. Welcome to God's open house as we gather around these tables of open affirmation.
We're going to start this morning with a song that we've been singing this whole month of July. And I know we have some visitors here this morning, some guests with us, so you won't know what to do, so I'm going to give a real brief explanation. The song is in 3 parts. If you're not feeling incredibly musical, the first part goes, breathe in, breathe out, breathe in, breathe out. And that's all you have to do the whole entire time, so super easy. Then group 2 goes, when I breathe in, I breathe in peace. When I breathe out, I breathe out love. And that's what's group 2. Then group 3 might be slightly higher voices. When I breathe in, I breathe in peace. When I breathe out, I breathe out love. Okay? All right. Group 1, let's get started. Breathe in, breathe out, breathe in, breathe out. When I breathe in, I breathe in peace. When I breathe out, I breathe out love. Group 3. Beautifully done.
First, a word from our Greek scriptures. When Jesus came up from the water, heavens were opened to him, and he saw the Spirit of God descending like a dove and alighting upon him. And suddenly a voice came from heaven saying, "This is my beloved Son, in whom I am well pleased." Second, a word from Friar Richard Rohr, entitled, "God is always the initiator, all else is a manufactured God." He says, "It has been said many times that after transformation, you seldom have the feeling you have found anything. It feels much more like someone has found you. You find yourself being grabbed, being held, and being loved by someone. At first, you do not even know what is going on. All that you know is that it is most wonderful undergoing, but an undergoing nevertheless. You do not need much yourself, but like Mary, you know something has been done unto you. Finally, you allow yourself to stand before one true mirror for your identity. You surrender yourself to the naked now of true prayer and full presence. You become a thou before the great I am. Henceforward, as Teresa of Avila wrote, you will find God in yourself, and yourself in love."
Good morning. Good morning. Today, I'm going to be interviewing our friend Nancy. I'd like you to be invited to read the bio on your table, or in the, if you need one, there are some on your way out. So, she is our final speaker of this year's Daring to be Sacred, Nancy Cruikshank Farish. Did I say it right? Yeah. You'll see and hear that she has many interests and passions. You probably already knew that. One being, as most of us have benefited, is her passion for baking and feeding those she loves. She loves us all. She feeds us well. And she's especially sensitive to those of us with food sensitivities,
So our gluten-free bread is also vegan. We have vegan folks in the audience usually, and lots of gluten-free folks. And even I can't have egg whites, and Nancy is always accommodating all of our needs. So her careful sharing doesn't end there. So to learn more about her, please join me in welcoming Nancy.
Switch sides, Nancy.
Oh,
Curious that we are.
This looks like it's very caring.
all right. So first of all, you, like me, are a Yankee by birth. I was born in New Jersey, and you were born in Massachusetts. So is that where you spent most of your childhood? And what anchored your family north of the Mason-Dixon?
Well, I was born in Framingham, Massachusetts, just kind of on the way to Pennsylvania. My dad worked for the railroad, so we traveled a lot, moved a lot when I was younger, but we settled pretty much in Pennsylvania, about an hour west of Philadelphia, and that's where I went to middle school, high school, and college.
So also like me, you're the youngest of four. What were you like as the baby of the big old family?
Very spoiled. I got my way, and as the youngest, I got to blame everybody else for everything. That's just how it worked in my house.
It's a lot of benefits.
A lot of benefits. That is the truth.
You're going through our questions very quick. All right, so outside of your being very shy, obviously, you're going to have to expound on that. What other pieces of interesting baby Nancy trivia do we not know? Any wild or crazy experiences?
This is fun, because there are actually things that even Colleen doesn't probably know. Yeah. So I was actually pretty shy growing up, painfully shy, and when I was about 15, my parents had the opportunity, wow, to send me to Germany. I went and lived with a family for a year in Germany, and with a family that spoke no English, and I spoke no German, and so I kind of got thrown into that with love, and it really did change me. What's interesting about that is, in lieu of this weekend, because what are we all watching on TV? Right. So this was in 1972 when I went there. And it was an opportunity for me to go to the Olympics, which I did in 1972. But those of you that are old enough to remember, 72 was also when the Israelis were shot. And I was actually there, not in the Athletes Village, but I was actually there when that happened. So that was pretty big for me at the age of really just 15, heading over there. And we did escape through the Alps. Not like the Sound of Music, but we did to get back home, and that was interesting. If you can imagine, that was before cell phones and all of that. My parents having let me go, and then knowing that this had happened, and knowing that I was over there was actually pretty challenging. I think the bit of trivia that maybe nobody other than my husband Bill would know would be part of my journey over there when I was in Germany was the opportunity to go to East Berlin. Because back then in 72, the wall was still up, right? The wall was still up at that time. So it was East Germany, West Germany, or East Berlin. And I traveled over there and spent some time with a family that lived behind the Berlin Wall, which was really actually quite life-changing. But part of what I did, being this 16-year-old thinking, I can do this, no sweat. On the train, I got a hold of some East German money from West Germany, and stuffed it inside of my deodorant stick. Okay, lobbed the top off, put it down in there, and stuffed it in there because I wanted to be able to take the people that I was visiting and live lavishly while I was over there. I wasn't thinking. I'm just 15, almost 16, thinking this is what I want to do for these people that I just adored. The Problem is, you know, you get stopped along the way when you go over the border because they take, you know, the dogs, and they have like all these, you know, soldiers, and it didn't dawn on me that had I gotten caught with that, it probably wouldn't have ended well for me. So I just thought I'd share that one little tidbit of information with you. And obviously it did end well, and here I am, tell my story.
Wow.
I know.
I was not expecting these stories. Okay. So from your northern upbringing to a German jaunt at 16, what led you to nursing school?
Well, I can't say at the beginning it was a calling. I would say it was a challenge. Because anybody that knows me is those four words of you can't do that actually means watch me. So I would always feign it, and it became a necessity in life that I needed to have a career. And I decided I'm going to go to nursing school. And my father said, yeah, you can't do that. You know, you feign at the sight of blood. Watch me. And that's how that career actually began.
So from your bio, we know that your journey progressed and was led by your passion for caring for others, whether taking them out with your hidden East German money, to baking us all sorts of things, to, of course, your nursing. And you went from the ICU to the PACU. So when did you sense the sacredness in your journey?
That actually was when I ended up in the recovery room. It's interesting because when I worked in the ICU, it was a great job. I loved it. It was a big challenge to handle people when they were really, really, really sick. But the recovery room was a different beast. It's a time when people, it's a very tender time when people wake up from surgery. I mean, if anybody's ever had surgery, you know it's a really challenging time when you wake up. It's the in-between of you were asleep in another world and you're kind of coming out of a cloud, and who are these people? And all these worries that you have about what's to be, or what happened, or what's the diagnosis. And that was when I knew that this really is the time to care for people as you're kind of pulling them out of that cloud.
So your caring for others, of course, is quite thematic. Through nursing, fellowshipping, baking, you break the myth of never trusting a skinny chef. And you also seem to be devoted to self-care and fitness. You've participated in triathlons, run the New York City Marathon, and you're now training for Chicago's marathon in the fall. So has self-care and fitness always been a big part of your life?
How do you know? I mean, growing up, I would swim. I was on the swim team when I was younger. I mean, my family had a place up in New Hampshire, and we used to water ski and, you know, ski in the winter, so that kind of thing, yes, but not really overall. Fitness and self-care, I would say no, and I would say that really came into play in nursing, because those of you that are in healthcare, and I'm sure in other professions it's true, but in healthcare in particular, we don't take care of ourselves. We don't take care of ourselves because we're in the business of taking care of others. So we always go last. And that really came into play, obviously, during COVID. I mean, it really exploded during COVID. And that's when I started that journey of self-care.
So when did your passion for caring for others and your self-care, how did that all come together? Because now it seems like you're caring for others by teaching them self-care.
Right.
Is that right?
So just before the pandemic exploded, I was attending a little conference at work, and it was Tim Cunningham. There might be those that might know him. And he really worked at the School of Nursing in an area called the Compassionate Care Initiative. And I thought that was really interesting. And they really focused on helping people help themselves. And I thought, wow, yeah, that really speaks to me. I need that, as do my colleagues. So I joined the group, and in that same period of time, I took a course by John Kabat-Zinn called Stress-Based Reduction, Mindfulness-Based Stress Reduction. And that's where that all came together, like, aha, this is the moment. This is how we can take care of ourselves. These are the practices as healthcare providers. So two of my colleagues and myself started this grassroots effort, and we said, we need to take better care of ourselves, but we know that we don't. So we created this piece called Room to Reflect, giving ourselves permission for self-care. And the Room to Reflect really spoke to two things. One, the space. We need the space at work to do that, but really more importantly, the permission to take care of ourselves, because we didn't. So we came up with this toolbox, and if we have time later, I can show that to you, that in the moment, actually during the pandemic, we did actually have space because we weren't doing as many surgeries and people weren't leaving their homes. We had a box that we created with some activities to help people really enter into some mindfulness practices in different ways. But then we also knew that maybe that's not going to work in itself, because what if you don't have time? Which most of us at work, you know, in the social work, you don't have time. You can't just say, peace out. I'll be gone for an hour. I'm going to do some mindfulness practices and I'll be back. So were there things that we could do to help us in the moment? And that's where the 4 W's came from.
So do you want to explain more about how they work? I mean, well, I'll say, so I had Nancy come to, I work in dialysis unit, I had her come out and talk to our nurses, and we have the little cards. We've had a lot of new staff. I probably need to redo this in a huddle, but, and this is helpful in a dialysis unit. It's very active. You're turning over the chair, you're trying to, you know, there's a little bit of downtime once patients are all on, but something could go wrong, and then you're up on your feet having to deal with it again. So this was really helpful, the wash, wipe, walk, and wait. Do you want to talk a little more about these?
Sure. So the whole idea behind that, again, was trying to find activities, and actually I'll walk you through it. Everybody can use it. You don't have to be a healthcare provider to use these things, because I hope everybody washes their hands at least a couple times a day. So we came up with some activities, and we wanted to tie them to words that people could remember. It's easy. The 4 W's, right? It's an easy thing to remember. So we attached them to activities that we did while we worked. So one of them was wash. We're always washing our hands at work. Could we use that as an opportunity to take a moment and do a mindfulness practice? And I'll walk you through it in a minute. Another one was wipe. And wipe is more of a transitional thing. For me in the PACU, it was one patient going, another one coming, cleaning the equipment, wiping it down, and what you can do in that moment. And walk. I mean, we're always walking. Short walks, long walks, down the hall, to the next patient, in and out of a room. Those are opportunities, short opportunities, to do a mindfulness practice. And then wait. You would never think in healthcare we're waiting. We're waiting on the phone to give report. We're waiting at the elevator ding to go down to the cafeteria. You're waiting in line to get your coffee. There's lots of opportunities. Even when we went into what we call the PSCC machine, which is where you would go into this small area to get medicines out, there's a delay. Even when we would go into an isolation room, there's a delay. So all of these opportunities to engage in some of these practices. So as with all of them, the common theme, and you'll know this, Ruth, because you do yoga, so you're all about this. The common theme is our breath. And I've talked about this before. It's the most important tool that you have in your toolbox, because anywhere you go, you breathe, right? And breathing is really at the base of yoga and a lot of mindfulness practices. It brings you back to yourself. Where am I in this moment? How do I feel? Take a breath. Because most of you right now, I mean, think about it. You're not taking a deep breath. We just take these short little puffy breaths, right? But if you, right now, take a deep breath and blow it out. Take another one and blow it out. In that moment, you can feel a difference. Every single one of us can feel a difference. So using that as you go along is helpful. It's a powerful tool. So the wash, getting back to the wash. I had a patient, very challenging patient, that I was not able to leave the bedside for 4 hours. Unrelenting 4 hours. Won't share any details other than I could not really leave. That really takes a toll on you. So what I found was, Mr. Smith, not his real name, I'll be right back. I would walk to the sink and I'd wash my hands. And I took that as an opportunity to check in. How are you feeling? Yep, my shoulders are kind of tight. Feel the water on my hands. Feel the wetness of the water. Feel the temperature. Hear the sound of it. All of those things are a reset for your brain. Done over and over and over for the 4 hours, it was amazing what a difference that made for me. So these are things that build upon itself. Wiping down equipment was an opportunity for me to say, yep, I didn't feel really good about that, or I've got the, nope, where am I right now? How do I feel right now? And you gather all of that with that cloth and you throw it in the trash. Next task, move on. If you do that over and over throughout a day, it makes a difference. And you can do that anywhere you are. Walking down a hallway, waiting on the phone, waiting on the bus going to work, waiting in line in your car. All of these are opportunities for you to take some time for yourself. So each one of the practices, if you look at the card, you don't have a QR code on it because right now UVA is revamping it. Actually, before I retired, we made videos for each one of these because what we found is that people didn't want to scan it and have to read it. They wanted to be able to be present. So we made videos for each one of them explaining what to do. So that's to come. But that's what that is there. And you can just take it. And really over time, all it is a prompt. All you have to do is look at that and be able to say, oh, that's right. While I wash my hands, I can do this. And it really made a difference.
All right. I guess that's everything for now. Unless you want to show off your
I can show you the box since we have time.
Some extra goodies.
So this is what we call the toolbox, and it literally is a toolbox. I bought them at Lowe's, like 20 or 30 of them, right? And we got them for every unit. And this was so that if the nurses had 5 minutes, 10 minutes, which we found through the study that we did, they really didn't. Not only did they not have the time, they really didn't want to do it because it kind of made them look like, oh, look at her, she's taking a little bit of time for herself. That was that permission piece. And that's why, I know, it's just amazing. So that's why we came up with the 4 W's, which actually worked better. But anyway, in the box, we had virtual reality goggles. Okay. We also had a headset for those that didn't have any. And we had a sound box. So what we found is, and the research shows, that just being able to sit 17 seconds will change your brain. So that if you could sit, put the headset on, which is what I did. I put the headset on, sat near a window when I took a few minutes with the warmth of the sun coming in. I put the headset on and I listened to the sound of the beach. That changed me. And they're timed. So you didn't have to think about, oh my God, I've got 10 minutes, or I don't have this, or I have this. It actually is timed. You sit there and when it's done, it's done. And then you can go back to work. The virtual reality obviously was the favorite of everybody because they could sit there and do that. They could listen to stories, they could engage in yoga if they were able to do that, and that's what this box was for.
I know we have a lot of healthcare folks, so. But I think the way you talked about the 4 W's is things that people, even outside of the healthcare profession, can definitely implement. So there are Q&A sheets on your table. We will take questions later on, and we'll come back for that. So we're done for now.
It was great to listen and learn from our bread buddy, Nancy. In a few moments, we will share time with one another around the welcome table, a place where we will not only break bread and pin our inquiries, but take a moment or two to chat with your table companions. Towards the end of that time, Heidi and I will come around with offering plates to gather not only your gifts, but your questions for Nancy. With that, I invite you to join me in a moment of reflection as we consider Spirit's gifts to us and our gifts to one another. The one who raises the sun each morning, and lifts high the moon at night, usher you through cycles of rising, falling, and rising again. Though we stumble, God lifts us. Though we doubt, God remains. Though we get weary, God revives. Through each of us, God gives. Amen.
That's probably the most asked question in my house right now because my daughter is living with us with her 2-year-old. And where mommy? Where mommy? Where mommy? Thank you, Nancy and Ruth. That was great. I'm sure we all have lots of questions, so be writing down your questions. Wow, I don't think it's just healthcare providers that have trouble with self-care. I think anyone who cares for other people, and speaking of mommies, mommies need care no matter what age they are. And in whatever profession you're in, you're taking care of other people, whether you're a mommy, a daddy, an uncle, an aunt, grandma, grandpa. We're all taking care of other people. And we all tend, unless we're, narcissists at heart, we do tend to put ourselves last and take care of other people. And it's almost portrayed as a Christian value or something. But I don't think that's, the first shall be last and the last shall be first really had to do with wearing yourself down to a little nub while you're taking care of other people and not taking care of yourself. So I found myself quite a few years back with 7 children at home. A very rainy summer, which is very hard to relate to at the moment with all the non-rain that we've been having. Feeling kind of down and wanting an out. And crazily enough, Nancy, my out as a young mom was to take a bath. So I not only washed my hands, but I locked the door and got in a bubble bath and usually a glass of wine. And that was my time. I may not have had any other time during the day where there wasn't, I couldn't even go to the bathroom by myself. Most mothers know that. And I'm back to that again with my 2-year-old granddaughter. She seems to think I need help getting the toilet paper off the toilet paper roll. Maybe I do. I'm training her for the future, I guess. Anyway, this song, I wrote this song because I knew that my ultimate rescue was, even if it was just for a few moments, to remember how much God loved me and to allow the presence of God to just lift me up. And this song is called Rescue Me. Rescue me, tender. Rescue me, sweet. Rescue me, all fair. Oh, set my feet on your rock solid covenant. Love that is true, impenetrable fortress, love that completes me. What if I told you? What if you knew all your company warm me and chase fears away. All through my long lonely night, would you, oh, would you just stay? When I need to cry, when there's no answers
How did you get guitar in the bathtub? But I'm. So we come to this time, and for those who've been here, week after week, you hear me talking about the word companion, meaning breaking bread together. That's what that word means, and that's why we've treasured this time. And in this tradition, in many traditions, it centers around food on the table. And in the same way, Jesus took a tradition and a festival, a Passover holy day, and reframed it as he's sitting around the table with those closest. We're assuming that he knew them very, very well, but aren't we all always hiding a little bit of something? It might not be getting ready to betray someone, but we've betrayed someone. Maybe it's ourselves. And we don't like to get vulnerable, and we don't like to sit around tables with people that are going to watch the way we chew or slurp. But that is really what God asks of us, to love ourselves enough to let go of that fear of judgment, of self, and then that gift that we're able to share with those sitting around the table. So I hope during this time, which we do allow an extended amount of time, that we will be sharing the gluten-free vegan bread that Nancy, the nurse baker marathoner, made. And we're really grateful for that. And then also the fruit of the vine, which is alcohol-free. And for those of you who haven't been here, haven't been here in a while, we sit and we'll talk and we'll write some questions down. We'll have an extra second of whatever we want a second of, even if it's just a second in time together. So I hope that you find self-care in this circle, because often we don't give ourselves permission to be known, even to ourselves, that maybe I'm tired. So those are who are our table hosts. I'm going to let you decide who that is. Well, let's turn our chairs around to the center. And I have my table hosts. They don't have to repeat my words, but mime me as I lift the elements symbolically around. There are plastic gloves there if anyone feels more secure with that. So what we are reminded that there was a table that was set for friends and family at Passover. I don't think that it was one-sided like Michelangelo's thing. I think probably there were people sitting all the way around, not all going like this. But so this is what we're doing here, coming around the table. And there came a point during this Passover meal where Jesus took the bread, the everyday bread that was there, probably unleavened, certainly unleavened. He broke it and he blessed it and said, "This is my body given for you," this symbolic token of me giving care to those who I love and informing them to continue to care for one another in the same way. Please just wrap those chairs, Heidi. I can move over here. And then the cup was lifted. It's the chalice. And we can fill our elements, but if we're going to lift our chalice symbolically, table hosts, it was lifted, it was blessed, and it said, please share this water, eternal life, amazing symbol of God's presence with you always. And as you go, may your presence remind others of God's presence. And so, it was so. And the chatting began.
Yes, ma'am. We're overnighting. So I'm sleeping in a hammock with a mosquito thing. A bunch of ministers related to our regional minister, basically just a coordinator for the state. Just threw out an email to a bunch of pastors and the hike AT with me, and that was that. February has always been on my bucket list. I've lived so close, my goodness. I live in Israel. And I thought I'd take 4 or 5. I said, absolutely. I'm so excited. So, we'll leave on Monday. We'll do about 10 to 15 miles. And the week from Monday, we'll hike about 10 miles a day. And I also do, I don't know if you've heard of personalities, that's what we call the Enneagram. And I'm certified, I've been trained, used it for 3 decades. Now it's kind of pop psychology. It's on Instagram, so it's watered down. But Bill, who is the regional minister, asked if as we're walking on the trail that either introduce concept and then share with people, not force this option. So I'm hiking with a purpose. I mean, not only my bucket list. I'm really, I'm not hiking enough about it to be nervous. And I don't have to plan it, which I normally still plan. I think it's so nice just to go. I hope.
It's fun to know your number. I think it's fun to know.
Yeah, we did one summer. I did a whole sermon series on it.
Oh, this is why you does this. How many days?
Monday through Friday. Okay. So about 10 to 15, yeah. So I haven't. Yeah. I think I'll last probably better but I'm very excited. I already have. I boots and I have the Camino boots here, which I'm sure. I'll also talk. Spain, north of Spain, we're going to do a Portugal route. It's been thousands of years. Pilgrims follow the remains of St. James. I'm going to do that for 25 years with another friend of ours. So we're going to take about a little over 2 weeks. We're going to fly into this place and then start because there's the more traditional route, the oldest route is France, the north of Spain. We're going to take the train. I just didn't know when to she didn't. She didn't.
Like,
It's crazy.
well, I had a meeting tomorrow. Yeah, I'm having a fresh deal here. Inside. And actually, kind of like county crunch.
There you go. I knew all those things. Because I used to go to Cuba a lot, so she was talking about like putting a bunch of money in a tube. I mean, I literally, excuse me, but I'm just getting that maxi pad and just cut the underside, wear like $500 on my purse to go to Cuba. So how long were you on vacation? You did what, Barbara? What area? Yeah. Oh. What were the? Was it like 4? What was the? That's what I would do.
Yeah, but the picture of you look like you have. Yeah, everybody else, like Adam's like. She's like, you fell in. Where's John? I'm like, he's falling down. Yeah, but it's good. It's good. But they have a half a day one, like a half a day. Ours is usually 4 or 5 hours.
I'm listening to
They had a half a day journey, 3 or 5, and then they have a overnight, like all day.
My sister does live in the back. She used to go, she was a partner in a women's travel adventure group for years. And they were due in Chile, Bolivia, they went to Chile. She would do these crazy, like massive tours and whatever. and I'm like thinking, oh yeah, no problem, you know, like thinking nothing. And then I did just in that Charlotte thing, it was a great intro. They also have high ropes courses and stuff like that. And I thought, oh no, you know, or I watch a movie or hear interviews about like actors that they used to let actors do their own stunts and like oars and fines. I'm like, when people drown, I think he's a good swimmer, but that doesn't help if you're. And you sit there and you think about, oh, what do you do? And then they like fly out of a. I think it's a smart thing.
You have like
it was like definitely talk about dairy. Like, oh, hey girl, you come over here. A lot of things. Oh, I might have. A lot of things are just
It's bad. Muted the mic. Don't ever turn it on. Oh no, you're gonna be well. So obviously, it's something that's pretty amazing to sit around tables with folks, and then some of you probably have sat, maybe you've sat at the same table every week, but I just loved it. Last week I was able to sit with the Neelings,
And Annie and Emma just got back from Alaska, and Emma, for those of you who are regulars, graduated from high school this year, and she is going to UVA. And David, the Neelys would be coming here before the kids were born, and so just to watch these little ones grow up to be graduating, and it was really amazing to have Emma, 18, be the one that started the conversation at the table. And she didn't know everybody at the table, but it was nice out when we were sitting there to hear her talking about her journey of finding who she believes is the providence or sacred leanings of a friend that she'd known her whole life but never had spent enough time with to know how much they were alike, because her lifestyles, theological background, they didn't go to the same church, and all that kind of stuff, and that they're now going to be roommates. And it was just an amazing thing to find that out from Emma. Now you all know. But it's a blessing this time, this table. And I'm so glad Maggie found her mama. It's very good. But now we're going to invite Ruth and Nancy back up, and the questions that you've asked or comments you have. I even had a question. I spent quite a bit of time with that one. So thank you, and let's give them a little bit of.
Okay, so a lot of folks are wanting to know some more kind of logistical things about the project and everything. So did you go to any trainings that you found helpful, like in creating this, or follow any teachers?
Okay, so I started with the John Kabat-Zinn course that I took. It was an 8-week course that they provided for healthcare providers. And that's really kind of the impetus for all that, understanding mindfulness practices. That's what you need. That's how it happened. That's what really taught me how to engage in it, how to engage in mindfulness practices. And then from there, we kind of put that together with how could we do that at work and how would that be helpful for us. But I will tell you this, and this is a story that I think most of you guys know about me. I don't like to fly. Right? That's kind of like an understatement. And up until I took this course, it took a fair amount of Valium and some other libations to get me on a plane. And I'd lose days because it took all of that to get me on a plane. But once I took that course, it was so life-changing for me to learn that there were tools that I could use to help me. It didn't take the fear away. It was still there. It was all about being present in the moment. And that's when the light bulb went on about, that's the same thing with work. All the stuff we're dealing with, it's not going to go away. But are there things that we can do in the moment to help us survive?
What was your biggest obstacle to getting UVA or any workplace to embrace mindfulness? Or
Answer that.
do we need to turn off the recording?
I would say is do it first and ask for forgiveness later. So we, the three of us that worked in different areas. One, Jane, she's now at the University of Penn. We just worked together, the three of us, and just said, let's make it happen. So we went ahead and actually did it, and then we brought it to leadership, and they went, what? We said, yeah, so we would love your support now that we've already created it. And then that's kind of how that happened, honestly. And they did, they rallied behind us. But I think it's a difficult thing in a big institution, and probably with a lot of companies, that they don't always see, you know, like that forest for the trees thing. So we went ahead and just did it and said, we know it works, here it is. And then they went with us and helped us and supported us while we went ahead and did the study, because we really had to do it. I mean, we had to kind of prove that this works. So we actually went on 7 nursing units, different areas, inpatient, outpatient, you name it, and tried it out. And then we published our results in an international public health journal.
And I don't know who wrote this, but someone said, would you come and speak to my team?
100%. So I did a lot of that. Like Ruth said, one of the other things I did at work was I would do mindfulness minutes, basically, and just come onto the unit. And because really all they have is a minute. And and would just tell a brief story and give them a practice and move on. Absolutely, anytime, when I'm not rowing.
Whoever that is, you,
100% DJ, I'd be happy to. Do that.
And then I guess, so someone asked, where has your project on mindfulness taken you? For example, other healthcare facilities, conferences, organizations. Did you have any idea this was going to happen, like grow into a big mission?
Well, that was the hope, because I think we just knew ourselves, because we were using their practices. Jane, who was an ER nurse, and Janelle, who kind of ran the clinic. We knew that it worked for us, so we knew that if it worked for us, we knew that it would work for our colleagues. We did go to a couple of conferences. We took it to Magnet, obviously, because Magnet's a big thing for nursing.
What is that?
And Magnet is an organization that looks at nursing and its abilities and its leadership skills in institutions and its impact on an institution. And they have a lot of criteria you have to meet to be considered a Magnet institution, of which UVA is. And one of them is, self-direction that we do. And this was a project that clearly showed that. So
maybe this is sort of answered, but are you going to continue mentoring self-care to medical professionals in your retirement? I mean, are you planning to continue? Do you have a specific plan?
I took a little bit of a step away because it was a huge project, but we are entering back in because it's not going away. People, since we published this, have reached out to us from states all over the country and wanting to implement it in their institutions. So navigating the UVA health system and how we're going to do that, that's where we are right now. And moving forward, we do. We're hoping to actually put all of this information on a little badge so that you can literally just walk around work, have your badge, be in the moment, and use the practices. But it takes time. Ideas take time. So.
And someone asked for the codes when they're updated.
I'll let you all know that. Like I said, right now they're inactive. That's why we took them off. You really can't use them, but absolutely, I will let you guys know when they're available.
All right, a couple other things. When you mentioned self-care, talk about your other health transitions. You're quitting smoking, diet changes, any other healthcare or self-care.
This is for me. I think we look at Nancy and we think, oh, she's a fitness guru. She's always been she's taking care of herself. She ate well. You've made some big changes in your life since I've known you. It's never too late.
It's never too late. Gosh, I smoked, 4 packs of cigarettes a day. A long time ago. Yes, I was a very big smoker. And I just decided to make some changes that, that wasn't going to be sustainable over my life. And running was a very big deal for me. And that really, as are for a lot of people, runners know runners, that really was a change. It's been a huge thing for me when we talk about community, that these women that are at this table over here I'm pointing out, they're my running family, and I've been running with them for 15 years. So I think that is probably a big piece of it, and just understanding, diet and exercise and all of it.
I'm hearing that taking care of yourself happens in community.
It does.
Like you develop this project with other nurses, you have this community of runners that you're part of. Here we are, a wonderful community. Look at this. This is beautiful. There you go.
That's the reason I can do this.
DJ has 2 more questions on his sheet. Now that I know it's DJ's, so I'm going to ask them. He wants to know what's Bill's favorite meal that you create.
What Bill's favorite meal is that I create?
Yeah.
I think anything I cook, I will say that. That is very true. That is true, sweetheart. That's true. He will eat anything I cook. So, that's his favorite meal. Oh, favorite. I don't know. That's a really interesting question. Oh, the chicken pasta salad. That's right. That is true. That's very true.
Okay,
Thank you for answering that for me.
You're going to have to share that recipe. And then...
That's right.
All right, and DJ's last question was your favorite memory caring for a patient? Or a favorite?
Oh, many, but I will just say, in general, I know I had a gentleman that was worried about his outcome, and this is probably across the board every patient. You've you've ever had. They go off to sleep, number one. The number one fear is, I'm not going to wake up, right? Everybody has it universally. But also the diagnosis, in this particular gentleman, the diagnosis, it was a fearful diagnosis of which it ended up not being. But just being able to be with that individual and then the family associated with it, because you're never in isolation. It's never one person. But to be able to be there, it's an honor to help that gentleman wake up and go, really? And here's the thing, when people wake up, and I don't say this laughing disrespectfully, it's kind of like the Saturday Night Live guy, Bill Murray, that never had short-term memory. You remember? It was like over and over and over. You had to tell him something. When people are first waking up, you have to repeat yourself like 10 times the same thing. So to be able to tell this gentleman that it's all good, everything went well, it's all good, was such a great thing.
Okay, it was one more I missed. Sorry, I tried to group them together and I missed this one. This will be our last question. As another form of meditation, what do you do with your mind during long runs?
Form of meditation. I was going to say I think about what I'm going to eat when I'm done. No, that's true. Breathing is a very big thing, and I'll tell you this is important in everything. The problem with yoga is it's breathing into whatever area is bothering you, because if you're a runner, you know as you go, the more miles you go, something bothers you. It's probably my left knee, and then the next mile it's my hip. No, actually it's my neck. And every mile that you just be in the mile you're in, just like in life. Be in the mile you're in, and in that mile, breathe into it. That's it.
All right. Well, our final song that we've been singing every week is, I don't know why I'm even trying here. Okay, well, forget it. All right. Filled with loving kindness, and we're very much going along with what we've just been hearing, that we're not isolated human beings on the planet, and we need each other. We need to take care of one another. We need to take care of ourselves. So in the spirit of that, we're singing, "May I be filled with loving kindness." Of course, God's loving kindness, the psalmist says, is better than life. So may I be filled with loving kindness. Then may you be filled. So we're going to speak to each other, and then as a community, we're saying, may we be filled with loving kindness. May I be filled with loving kindness. May I be well. May I be filled with loving kindness. May I be well. May I be peaceful and
The people that have shared with us are from our own flock. It's been wonderful. Thank you for being vulnerable and sharing your stories, Park Street guest speakers. It's just been delightful to get to know more about you. And thank you for sitting around these tables. For those who are here regularly, for the the upcoming month of August, we're going to keep the setup because we're going to be featuring the Gospel of John 6th chapter, and it's called, the sermon series will be called The Gospel of Bread. So just to pique your interest, there may be a little bit of bread still at the table. Maybe it will take a different shape. If I can get Nancy to bake it all. But with all that, that's how I say, God bless you. May you go out offering loving kindness to this world so desperately needs.
That's right.